Hey, good morning, Georgianna. I hope this finds you doing well this morning and you got your coffee, your tea, or your breakfast sandwich, or whatever you have with you. I'm super excited about the week ahead. Compassion Sunday is coming, and then Easter Sunday, the Sunday after that. I hope that you're tracking with all the announcements that relates to outreaches that are going on and Easter Sunday services. So this morning we're in Isaiah, probably the most popular and well-known passage in all of Isaiah. It comes from chapter 40, beginning in verse 28 through 31. It goes like this. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those whose hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not grow faint. So part of what I want to share with you this morning, church, is that we're in a season right now where I think everybody's weary. It is hard to believe that it's a couple of weeks past a 1 year anniversary since the beginning of COVID and everything that we're going through. People remain on edge. People remain crispy. Everybody seems weary and tired. I was on the phone with a pastor the other day who was just talking about how challenging this past year has been for him personally and how little time off he's had. And how he was literally getting out of town. And as he was backing out of the driveway, he got a phone call of somebody in need. And that just is the story of our lives these days, that just their tugs and pulls and whatever we leaned on for normalcy and strength has really evaporated over the last year through the circumstances that we're experiencing. So this passage, I think, is both timely and relevant to the world we live in. So I also want to share with you that it reminds me of the passage from Matthew. Let me share that with you really quickly. It comes from Matthew chapter 11. Um, it says this. Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I think what these two passages have in common is that God's desire for us to draw near to him for our strength. The prophet Isaiah tells us that our hope is found in the Lord, and that when our hope is found in the Lord, that we can rise above, that we can have strength to run the race, that we won't grow weary. And I think part of our weariness in this culture is that we've been leaning on a lot of other things besides Jesus. We've been leaning on a lot of other things besides the hope that can be found in God alone. So this is my testimony for us today, is that we would know that part of the way we can have hope and not grow weary is that we have got to rise above. So when Isaiah says that you will rise as on wings of eagles, I think part of what God is trying to tell us is there is a place and a way to get above the quagmire, get above just the stress and the anxiety of every day. And that is to get with God, to go to 30,000 feet, literally, and to look back in a situation and see it for what it is. To see it in the long line of history and to say that while this has been a challenging year, there have been a lot of good things that have come from it as well. That there have been some things that would have not normally have happened had we not faced the challenges we faced. But to look at it from 30,000 feet and not to see it so close like we typically do every day, which is what creates our anxiety, which creates our frustration and really causes us to really kind of take our eyes off Jesus. So what I want us to think about this week is how do we literally lean into God for our strength? How do we take his yoke upon us so that our burden would be light, right? So that we could be in non-anxious presence in our homes, in our workplaces, and where we go. Listen, church, I'm telling you as your pastor, my life is not stress-free. I got plenty of stuff going on, lots of things happening, but I tell you that I would be a wreck if it were not for leaning into God. If it were not for the fact to go to 30,000 feet and to be able to look at the long line of history and know that these are seasons and pockets of challenges, that it's not a permanent challenge, right? That God sees what's around the corner. God has made a way for us. So we know that in this world, that on our own, in our flesh, we are weak, but with Christ, we are strong. So that's what I want you to focus on this week as you read this passage from Isaiah If you think about Jesus' statements from Matthew 11, let that be the place where you draw your strength. Church, I love you so much. I'm so glad that we're about to celebrate Easter together. I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Hope you have a great week.